The story of Jonah. So, was the fish a whale or a big fish that swallowed Jonah? And I have heard that big fish have actually swallowed people before. Such a beautiful day for fishing, thought Jonah. Suddenly he heard the voice of God. Jonah, go to Nineveh. I don't like that city, said Jonah, and I won't go. And he went the opposite. He did not listen to God. The opposite way. So Jonah ran away. He boarded a ship sailing away from Nineveh. Is it Joppa? Maybe he went to Joppa. That ought to do it, he thought. But a storm rocked the boat. Waves crashed. Help! Cried the sailors. Jonah knew God sent the storm for him. Love the 3D pictures. It's like being on stage. Jonah was tossed overboard. Down, 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 Jonah. So Jonah said, if you throw me overboard, the seas will be calm. Jonah was tossed overboard. Down, down, down. Jonah went to the bottom of the sea. This is it, thought Jonah. I can't swim. He doesn't say that in the Bible. But when he opened his eyes, Jonah was staring into the mouth of the very biggest fish he had ever seen. So this has artistic liberties. They don't say that in the Bible, that he's looking into the mouth, but the general story is correct. I have a hard time with The Chosen sometimes, that famous TV show The Chosen, because it kind of has its artistic liberties and does its own thing. But somebody told me the other day that The Chosen is good at defining the characters that were around Jesus at the time. With one gulp, that fish swallowed Jonah. For 3 days, Jonah waited inside the dark and smelly fish. Why did I try to run away from God, he thought. Finally, Jonah cried out, Dear God, I'm sorry. I'll do whatever you want. Pushed with a mighty breath, that very big fish spit Jonah up, 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 and out. Some translations say vomited. Blah. Jonah landed with a thud on the shores of Nineveh. After he finished the job God had for him to do in Nineveh, Jonah went back to fishing. There's not fishing in the Bible, but every time he felt a huge big tug on his fishing pole, he always let it go, just in case. Okay, so what happened in the Bible? What actually happened is he sat under a tree and was mad and depressed about that God was gonna save Nineveh. And then a worm killed the plant that he was under. And it ends. So hopefully Jonah had a better attitude, and we all have a good attitude with the Lord. So this is 1995. There was another one at the church library that said MM. MM. So I had to Google that. Copyright MM. And that would be 2000. And $6.95. That's a pretty good price. Jonah. So let's see how this is different. Must have been a different artist. Looks interesting how their eyes are white like that. Like they've sunburned with sunglasses or something. Jonah turned to God. He thought that he could hide. He saw a fishing boat and he slipped himself inside. A terrible storm arose. The ocean crashed and roared. It's my fault, cried Jonah. Throw me overboard. I don't know if that was a fishing boat. There's a fish that looks like a whale. But whales are actually mammals. That looks more like a fish right there, I think. Jonah thought he'd die. That was not God's wish. Suddenly Jonah found himself deep inside a fish. The fish thrashed. He shook from head to fin, and all the while he did this, Jonah was with him. So that is not specifically in the Bible, but makes for a good picture. For 3 whole days on the ocean floor, Jonah prayed harder than ever before. The fish cast Jonah out, The sun helped him to dry. Jonah looked about. Nineveh was nearby. There's a verse that seaweed was on Jonah's head. I haven't seen any pictures yet of seaweed on Jonah's head. Now Jonah preached to let the people know God is always with us wherever we may go. Here on the land or deep down in the sea, God hears, He sees, and He loves you and me. So that's a good message for Nineveh, but it doesn't end with Jonah feeling sorry for himself. But Jonah is a great story, very highly illustrated, and very important. Listen to God, have a cheerful attitude. Repent if you need to.